بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Assalamu alaikum, my brothers and sisters. I hope you're praying your salahs as well as looking to the Qur'an and Hadith for guidance in your everyday life. If you're watching this video and it's salah time, please pause it and go pray and come back when you're done. Please check out the description section of this video to support the channel. So Piers Morgan and Andrew Tate just did part 1 of their new interview, and as expected, it has went viral. What was fascinating about the interview was how Andrew Tate spoke about the roles of men and women and how alien this was to Piers Morgan. It sounded like Andrew was talking about it from a Sharia perspective in reference to how men and women should behave in terms of their roles towards each other as spouses and parents, as well as their roles in the household. Tate also told Piers that dressing modestly is real empowerment for women, as opposed to dressing with skin on display, whereas Piers thought there was nothing wrong with a woman that is old enough to be a grandmother posing next to naked on Instagram. Piers Morgan asked Andrew Tate why he doesn't dress modestly like he wants women to, which is a fair point, as Muslim men have to also dress modestly. Additionally, Tate spoke about girlfriends once again, which is haram. Piers did rightfully press Andrew about how he views his involvement with his former webcam business, now that he is Muslim, and brother Andrew answered him from an Islamic perspective. Tate also told Piers about the emotional nature of women having both up and down sides. This is again accounted for in the Qur'an, so much so that women are even given more preferential treatment when it comes to being excused from praying and fasting due to our biology affecting our emotions. I will give you the Islamic breakdown for all these points by referencing the Holy Qur'an, which may sound alien to non-believers like Piers, but is complete common sense to Muslims. Let's roll the clip.
Do you mean any of this?
I mean all of it. Any woman I'm with, I will provide for because
No woman should work. They should spend all day beautifying themselves for you, right? And they might get promoted to wife. Your job is being my girlfriend. There are hundreds of millions of women around the world who do a good day's work who still manage to be a very good wife or partner. I find myself agreeing with 60 to 70% of the things you say. And I do, because I think a lot of the stuff you say about empowering young men to be confident, to work out, to take care of themselves.
To have enough money to not force their woman to work.
Right, but that's the bit. That's the bit where when you stray into that kind of language, particularly in the detail where you reveal what you're really thinking, the kind of pathetic, soulless life you want for these women. Where does it allow for being a mother, for example?
Absolutely,
How does a mother of your children manage to find time for being a mother in this routine of love and devotion to you?
How does having a job give her time to be a mother? This gives her all the time in the world to be a mother. I tweeted this out. I get thousands of women begging me, inboxing me, saying, finally a man who understands he needs to provide for a woman so she can be her best self.
Right.
This is exactly the kind of life that will allow women to become
there
a
are
mother.
definitely women that will absolutely love to be treated like this.
Are they misogynists?
No, but what I think they're people who just basically, it's the old sugar daddy thing, right? They want to have a rich guy who's going to pamper them and take care of them. They don't have to do a day's work. They just have to make themselves
a good partner
look
is
good
a
for
day's
you.
work.
Well, so you say.
Yeah.
But it also, the language that you use here seriously diminishes women who do work. You make them out to be, well, you're not doing your job as a partner or wife. You should be doing your job, which is just to devote yourself to his pleasure and making him happy.
Well, it's actually interesting you say that, because I'll put a lot of the fault of this on men. Let's if you want to gender the argument, let's do that. I think that a lot of the reason why women can't live this life, if they so choose, if you're a woman who decides to work, then go to work. I don't care. But if you're a woman who decides she wants to retire, it's because she can't find a man who could provide for her at this level. Do you think when a woman marries a billionaire that she wants to go get a job in Starbucks? Because in my experience, when they marry extremely successful men, they don't want a job, because being a fantastic partner and having a bunch of children is a bunch of hard work. I'm saying if you're with a man of my stature, you don't have to work.
You have a definite appeal to a certain type of woman. There's no question.
I think providing for a woman financially is a man's responsibility. If that means I'm a misogynist, then I'm a misogynist.
No,
I think
so you accept you are a misogynist?
No, I think a man should provide for a woman financially, completely and utterly. If she wants to work, if my partner were to say to me right now, I really feel like getting a job, it would make me happy, then I'll say work. But she doesn't have to. Her job is looking after the children, looking after me, and being as happy as possible. If you think I'm a bad person for saying, if you actually read that, read the subtext and context.
I read it all out.
Okay, good. So what I am saying is, I am a man, my life is stressful, my life is pain. I go to jail, I suffer, I have to deal with making money. I have constant endless headache. I do all of that so I can give you everything, but then I get to have you. Your job is to be happy. I want you to smile. I want you to look your best and feel your best all of the time. If am I a misogynist for saying that I go through so much pain so that we can be financially secure, so I hope the woman I care about does not have to work a job. If that makes me a bad person, then so be it. Because all I'm saying is I want to take care of her in every single realm. I take care of her physical safety. I take care of her financial security. That is my job as a man. And if more men acted like me, you will see that the world will be a happier and better place. The women who say, I really want to work, I want a career, that's their prerogative and their decision. They're allowed to do that. But also, often the reason they do that is because they can't find a man they trust to take care of them.
No.
I've had this from women in their own mouth. If I found a man who was financially secure and as smart as you, I wouldn't be doing this garbage job either. Why was I psyoped into working to pay taxes when I should be at home having children with a man I adore?
Andrew,
it's a psyop.
Andrew, the real world isn't the one that you categorize.
The real world is varied and nuanced, but I am talking about my life experience. And in my experience, any woman I love does not have to work unless she decides to.
Fine, you're the boss, you're in charge, her job is to make you happy, her job is to make herself look good, her job is to work out for your benefit, blah, 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 blah. It is actually just misogyny.
Do you think a woman looking good, do you think a woman looking good and working out has no benefit at all to her?
Of course it does.
Okay, so it's not for my benefit, then is it?
Don't you see? But when you talk about young, no, I don't. When you talk about young men and you tell them to work out and take care of themselves, I cheer you on. Right? I want that. I've got 3 sons. I want them to feel that.
Don't you want them to become very rich and successful and have a woman who relies on them and have a beautiful family?
No, but I don't want a woman who's subservient to them.
Why is subservience? Why is a
Literally,
woman
the tone of the tweet I read is subservience. You did another tweet this week. Men love by telling you what to do and not allowing you to make stupid decisions. We save you from the female inclination to make stupid choices. If a man doesn't give you instructions, he doesn't love you. If you won't listen to a man's instructions, you don't love him. The whole language is so ridiculous.
Let me change the language then. I would argue in the happiest relationships, it's a traditionally masculine role in which the man plays and provides. The female is traditionally feminine. The man is the head of the house, not in an abusive way, doesn't beat her up. I'm talking about the man being the head of the household, like I would like to believe you're the head of your household. And he comes along and says what happens and what doesn't happen because he's the man of the house.
No, that's not. That's actually not how most households operate now.
Well, then it sounds like we understand why the entire world's a mess. Because only 10 years ago, that's exactly how the households operated. There was a man of the house, and now we have no longer any clear defined roles. There's no longer a man of the house. We're talking about all of the societal ills we face. Perhaps it's because we don't have any men in the house anymore. Perhaps we need to bring the man of the house back. And the man of the house will come along and be a disciplinarian, and he will make the set rules and the creeds of that house. That stands for the woman I am with, the children who we have birthed, because this is my house and I'm the man of the house. So it sounds to me like we need to bring it back, sir.
And I read the detail of your tweets, and again, come back to this. We save women from their female inclination to make stupid choices.
Females are emotional.
If a man isn't giving you instructions...
Now, females are emotional.
Hang on.
Piers,
he doesn't love you.
All
this stuff is designed to, exactly as you've just articulated, is designed to make young men feel that the only way they can be successful in life is to effectively have their women under control, give them instructions that they have to obey.
Don't buy women Prada, you'll end up in jail.
You can buy them Prada, but let me finish my point. You want to control women. You want them to be effectively your servants, slaves, for want of a better phrase.
Slaves who get Prada and get to work out in the gym and get to look good.
But you understand? Do you understand the point I'm making?
No, I don't.
You believe in masculinity controlling women.
No.
They have to take instructions from you. They have to do what you tell them, and that is actually what love and relationships are about.
No, I believe that men and women have different roles. I believe that we were created differently by God because we are the perfect team. I believe that a man who's in his masculine frame is best suited by a woman who's in her feminine frame. I believe when we work together, we can achieve amazing things, whether it's raising children or preserving society. And I believe a man has certain jobs and a woman has certain jobs. You don't understand this about the things I say. When I said there that women make bad decisions in the tweet you referenced earlier, the point I was making is that women are more emotional than men. That is their superpower. That is fantastic. That is a great thing. I love female emotionality. In the tweet before you tried to use against me, I was talking about how I love a woman to be happy all the time, smiling all the time while I'm stressed. I love female emotionality. The reason women are better with children, women are better with children is because they're emotional. That is their superpower.
That's not what your tweet said.
I said women are more emotional than men is exactly what I said. I'm saying that is a fantastic thing, but there is no light without dark. So in certain situations, the emotionality is positive. In certain situations, the emotionality is negative. But as soon as I say you're supposed to grow up and get big and strong, and if your wife doesn't want a job, you need to pay for her. It's your job as a man. You better find some money. Then I'm public enemy number one. Garbage.
On that last point, you don't say if a woman doesn't want to work, a man has to take care of it. You say a woman shouldn't work.
I say my woman won't work.
Right.
I'm talking about my personal experience.
And I don't want my daughter to grow up and think that actually her only success in life will come if she's at home as some kind of servant to her man. You tweeted a picture of Amanda Holden, very good friend of mine. It's a very harmless picture. She's in a bikini on holiday under a rain shower, looking extraordinarily beautiful.
In a sexual pose.
And you tweeted, "You are a wife and a mother and you're far past a teenager. There's no need for this post."
Agreed.
Again, it's just misogynist to say that.
It's not misogynistic.
Why can't a woman of her age, she's just turned 50, why can't a woman of that age actually show off her beautiful body in a nice bikini like that? What's wrong with that?
You can call me crazy. You can call me misogynistic, but I think once you reach the ripe age of 50, any woman should not be interested in thirst trapping on Instagram. I think she has bigger responsibilities. I'm sure she's a very intelligent lady and she's done amazing things. She's famous. She's obviously very capable. And I think she could do things more interesting than standing around trying to thirst trap on Instagram like she's 18.
Because
I think she's above it. I wasn't insulting her. I was reminding her that she's actually such a fantastic person. She's done such amazing things in her life and she's so achieved that she's actually above thirst trapping. I was reminding her of her worth. Feminine empowerment is in modesty. Modesty is empowering for females.
You only believe in
taking your clothes off for men on Instagram is not empowering. It's empowering when you say, no man but my husband can see my body. That is female empowerment. And I was reminding her of that. I was reminding her of her ripe age and her intellect. And there is no need for that.
You stripping off for Instagram is fine.
It's not stripping off for Instagram. I'm boxing. When you box, you have no top on.
You do it all the time with your cigar and you're showing off your ripped body. That's fine for you. But if Amanda Holden dares do it, that is apparently thirst trapping.
I think me boxing with no shirt on is different than a 50-year-old woman posting.
You don't just box. I've seen you doing ones where you wander around all moody with your cigar and you're topless and stuff. So fine for you.
Are you a fan, Piers?
No, I just think it's thirst trap. I think you talk in a way that is misogynistic, yeah.
Okay, when I said that post about Amanda Holden, a lot of women said, Andrew, that's actually completely correct. She's extremely famous and there's no need for her to be posting pictures like this at her ripe age. I was actually empowering her. I believe that female empowerment is in modesty.
You would have relationships with women and encourage them to take part in webcam sexual stuff.
No.
And both sides made a lot of money. Do you think what you've been making money from, park the illegality aspect to one side, do you feel it was moral?
10 years ago, I helped women promote their profiles on the internet. Correct. 10 years ago. Firstly, I have not been involved with it for 7 years. It's not how I make money. I haven't touched it for a very long time. I helped women with the tax side and the technical side and the promotion of their profiles. The promotion of their profiles on certain websites. And I said about this, and I said I haven't been involved with it for 7 years.
Do you think that that was moral?
Well, I wasn't religious back then, but let me sit and analyze.
Because you're now, you converted to Islam.
Yeah, correct.
You're a Muslim.
Correct.
They have, a code of behavior. Do you think that that fell short of that?
I have to answer as a professional. And as a professional, I would say, judging by my current code, no, I do not think that women being naked on the internet is moral. However, at the time I was atheistic, I learned a lot about the world, and I made a lot of women millionaires. But would I do it now? No. However, I'm in a very different situation now. I'm a different person. I'm religious. I'm also extremely financially successful. And the biggest crime I committed was completely legally promoting internet profiles.
Right.
There are people around me who did far
Actually, you're only going to be held
for far less.
No, you're only going to be held to the standard of the religion you've converted to. Would look at that as immoral.
When you take the Shahada, all of your former sins are erased. And I actually encourage you to find the light and convert to Islam.
So there's a whole lot to break down here. Let's start with a husband's financial responsibilities towards his family. In Islam, providing is the man's obligation towards his wife and children. I feel the comments Andrew Tate made about providing for a woman so she doesn't have to work or worry about money are in accordance with Islamic law. In Islam, we are taught the wife has financial rights over her husband, such as spending and accommodation. The wife also has non-financial rights, such as fair and kind treatment, as well as not being treated in a harmful way by her husband. Tate made the point that his wife should have free time and not have to be concerned about expenditures, and in return she should love, support and obey him, as well as have a positive nature around the home. Again, this is in line with Sharia law. In Islam, the rights of the husband over his wife include obedience from her, making herself available to her husband intimately, her not allowing anyone in their home that the husband dislikes, her not going out of the house without the husband's permission. He has the right to discipline his wife, and the wife should treat her husband in a good, supportive manner. A Muslim wife is to obey her husband as long as he does not ask her to do something that contradicts the teachings of Islam. If a wife is obedient towards her husband regarding halal matters, the rest of the husband's rights will automatically be fulfilled. The The Quran states men are the protectors and maintainers of women because Allah has given one more strength than the other, and because they support them from their means. Therefore, righteous women are devoutly obedient and guard in the husband's absence what Allah would have them guard. A wife's role in Islam is considered quite significant, as she is the one that runs a family both physically and mentally. A family does not feel like a family when the duties of a wife in Islam are neglected. A wife must be a role model for the children, take care of the children, ensure there is a religious environment in the home, give her husband mental support and provide him with peace and comfort. In regards to work, it is permissible for a woman to work outside the home, as long as the regulations set by the Islamic Sharia in this regard are observed. A woman should wear hijab and cover herself with loose clothing. A woman should not be a source of temptation while going out to work, nor should she mingle with men lawful for her to marry. A woman should be engaged in types of work that suit her physiological nature and should get the permission of her legal guardian or husband to work outside the home. A woman should make sure that her work would not result in any violation of the rights of her husband or children if she is married. Islam never forbids women to work inside or outside the home. Islam confirms that men and women have the same honoured status with God, with different roles, rights and responsibilities given their differing biological, physiological and psychological makeup. The Hadith teaches there are certain situations and areas in which, for conventional and natural reasons, women are more emotional than men. Mental strains before and during menstruation, during pregnancy, in relation to menopause, after childbirth, and psychological trauma if a child is lost or aborted are many real psychological issues that only women endure. The Hadith states that a woman does not have to pray and fast during her time of the month or after childbirth. This is due to a woman's physical burden and fragile emotional nature at these times. Thus, women have fewer religious obligations than men. Basically, women are allowed more leeway than men due to our biology. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prescribed that she should make up the missed fasts after this, and missed prayers are not required to be made up. What Brother Andrew said about women guarding their modesty being true empowerment was spot on. I don't know why Piers was saying the opposite. I'm sure he wouldn't like it if his female relatives were showering in a swimsuit on Instagram for the world to see, like his 51-year-old friend was doing. Also in Islam, it doesn't matter what age a woman is, we are not permitted to desperately seek attention by posing naked on social media or whilst we walk around in public. Muslim women cover up to please God and to uphold Islam's code of modesty. The hijab or niqab means others must look past a woman's external and focus on the internal. The purpose of this modesty is to maintain the dignity of both men and women when they interact. When among men who are not close relatives, women should dress modestly so that their source of beauty and attraction is covered. Women should respect themselves as dignified beings and interact with men with purity. They should not modify their behaviour around men so as to seem invitingly attractive or flirtatiously pleasing and thus allow themselves to be objectified. God also commands men to maintain their modesty. In the Qur'an it states, "And tell the believing men to lower their gaze and to be modest. That is purer for them. Allah is aware of what they do." I'll give Piers credit for pointing out that Andrew does not protect his modesty online when he is not properly dressed. Tate has to concede that point as a Muslim, and to be truthful, other Muslims have told him this also in the past. Many people think that in Islam, women covering up is primarily to restrain men from temptation, which is a misconception. It is not a woman's duty to regulate the behaviour of men. Men are accountable for their own conduct and to handle themselves responsibly in every part of their lives. Piers also brought up a very important question in regards to Andrew Tate's current views on his previous webcam business, now that he is Muslim, and Tate answered from an Islamic standpoint, once again stating that he was an atheist when he was in that business, and now that he is Muslim, he sees it as immoral, and he even gave Piers dawah to accept Islam at the end. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications, as I'll be posting new content daily. Jazakallah khair.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allah